hello. Hold on, wait. Actually, I forgot my microphone. Let me get my microphone. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you see me? Can you hello? Hello. Hi. Kadiani. Hello, Kadiani. He said, did we scare her away? I was trying to make myself nice for you guys. I'm trying to give you guys good sound. That's why. Hello, Zealage. Hello, Zealage. Hi, Mind Victory. Hi, Carrie. Bunyiti, D-Day. Hi, cuz. My favorite cousin. Hi, guys. Hello, American Patriot. Hi, Mr. Renegade. He says, I'm currently on the East Coast. I got to work in a few hours. What? On a Saturday? You got to work in a few hours? I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. Let's begin, shall we? Let's begin. So, if there's noise in the background, it's because the family is in the shower. That sounded wrong. That is how we do it. We put the whole family in the shower. We all save the money. No use in using new water. We use the one water for everybody. I have people in the shower. That sounds even worse. Listen, there's noise in the background. Okay? There's noise in the background. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay? Don't ask me what it is. It's water and people. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Listen. Call me. Stop. Okay, listen. I'm not going to explain myself to you guys. I don't need to explain myself to you guys. I don't have to explain my culture to you. Okay? I don't have to explain my life. But if you hear some noise in the background, that it's normal, okay? It's normal. Everything is normal, all right? Yeah, you can't hear anything right now because the bathroom. Anyway, okay. All right, let's just begin. Let's get to the topic at hand, okay? Let me turn the camera this way because I don't know what you guys. All right, so I know Dr. M. Dr. M is like, that didn't make it any better. I know. I didn't realize it until I did it. Okay. Sometimes you got to do something and realize you messed up. All right, listen. Lippo is like, that's a sweet home. A family that bathes together, stays together. And now the noise. See, I guess they finished bathing. All right. I'm sorry. All right, next. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. Okay. So, the title of today's stream was, okay, because apparently it's turned into something else. But the title of today's stream was, it's not comedy hour. Thomas, this is a very serious day. It's a very serious day. I know it's starting off weird, but I'm being very serious today. Okay? I know it sounds Listen, can you guys just pay attention to me? Can you guys just look? I am the one who's in front of you. Pay attention here. Don't worry about what's going on everywhere else, okay? We're supposed to be talking to each other. Now, today's title of the stream, which we're supposed to be focusing on, not what's going on over here, is title is what America can learn from Easterners. Gosh, and this stream has already started off bad, and I'm like, what you guys need to learn from us is to take the bath together. Take the whole bath and the family together. Brother, sister, grandma, everybody in the bathroom together. Don't worry about the anatomy. The children are going to learn what the booby is eventually. And the title is what you guys can learn from us. Oh my god. This is all kinds of wrong. I give up. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this stream anymore. This sounds so wrong. Oh my god. I am so hot right now. I am so hot. Am I turning red? Oh my gosh, I'm so hot. Why don't we talk about something else until until the shower bath is done, okay? Let's talk about something else for now, okay? How is everyone doing today? Lippo is like, and we're learning. No, please, Lippo, don't learn. Don't learn this. Just forget everything that you're seeing right now. I wish I had that Men in Black thing, the little pen thing, where I could just push the button and you guys forget what just happened in the last 5 minutes. Listen, okay, let's just. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I all right. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, let's talk about the weather. That is a great topic. I know I usually say that we can't talk about weather, but I think weather is a great topic. Are you guys done your bath? Oh, okay. Are you guys finished? Okay, that's sweet. Please be quiet, everybody. I I think that we should just talk about the weather. How is the weather, everyone? Please close the door. Door. Thank you. Okay. We're good now. Okay. We're good now. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I am so sorry, but that is just at least everybody filed out in a straight line and quietly. Let's begin, shall we? Now, what Americans could learn from Easterners is not to shower together, not to bathe together, not to put the whole family in the bath. It what we could learn about marriage. We can learn about marriage and divorce because culturally we do things differently. And sometimes sharing is caring when we share each other's cultures. we share each other's cultures and it's good that we learn from each other. And when it comes to things that are so serious, like marriage and divorce, I think it would be good for us to. I need a minute. I need a minute. I need to get a tissue. 1 second. Whew. Okay, I'm back. Whew. All right, so we have to talk about something very serious, right? So forget what you guys just saw. Oh, right. We there were some things that I wanted to talk about, right? There were the topic is that we need to share some things, right? And there's a there's a thing about marriage, right? And I was today now completely seriously, without any jokes, okay, without any bath jokes or grandma jokes or grandma boobies. At I want us to focus on things that that affect our daily lives. And one of the things that affects our daily lives is marriage. So we could talk about this, right? In marriage in the West, I have noticed something about you guys, right? And I have the picture. You guys look on the thumbnail. Okay, so the thumbnail had the picture of the American bride, and you saw them walking down the aisle to get married. They're in the church. They're walking down the aisle. The American bride holds her husband, and they're walking down the thing. I think you're supposed to be holding your father, and then he's supposed to give you to the husband. But for some reason, it was the husband and wife in this picture. And you guys in your weddings, you guys show a lot of affection. You guys, the bride is always hugging the husband and, all that stuff. You guys are very affectionate. Ours are completely different. In Eastern marriages, you don't see them touch. They don't really touch at all. There is no real, there's not that much because we don't believe in public displays of affection. Anyway, the thing I wanted to bring up with the marriages and divorces was that let's talk about divorce first. Divorce first, and then we'll start with the bad and then go into the good. Let's start with the bad. Separation time, right? Separation time, you guys have agreed that you guys cannot stand the sight of one another and you guys are going to divorce. You guys have made the decision to divorce, but you happen to be Easterners. You happen to be non-Westerners. You happen to be Muslim, traditional, Sikh, Desi, whatever the Eastern religion is, that's what you are. It's strict, it's non-forgiving, it's hard to divorce. And when you divorce, it has to be done a certain way. Divorce in the East turns out like this. When the pair divorce, the children stay with the father majority of the times. But it is cultural for the father to have the children and to have all power over the whole divorce process. The wife has no power over this divorce process at all, mostly. It's even hard for a woman to divorce in the Middle East or in Eastern cultures. A woman taking control of the divorce and saying, I am divorcing you because I feel that I deserve better or I want to be out there or what have you. It's a very hard thing to do. And a woman has to try to divorce at least 3 times in order for it to actually be official. The reason for this is because we believe that women are less mentally stable and that they are quick to run out of a marriage at the sight of a problem, and that we should force them to stay in the marriage once, twice, or 3 times to make sure that she is not making a decision that is irrational. Because women are irrational, they bleed once a month, they're psychotic, their hormones are up and down. We don't trust your rationality. We don't trust your thinking as Easterners. So if a woman chooses to divorce her husband, this is called a backdoor divorce. A backdoor divorce means that it is not a proper divorce because the woman initiated it. If a man initiates a divorce, it is a proper divorce. If a woman initiates divorce, it is a backdoor divorce. Backdoor divorces are they're very hard to get. You will see women go to the imam or their local mosque leader and ask for a divorce, and you will see the mosque leaders laugh at the women and send them back to their homes. That's what will happen. The woman will go and say, I will, yeah, imam, I want to divorce my husband. I don't feel that we have a good connection. I think that, and the imam will say, how many times have you tried to divorce? Oh, no, this is my first time, but I don't want to try again. I want to really get out of this. Okay. Go talk to your father. Bring your father here. I will see you next time. She comes back with the father. Do you think that your daughter should divorce? Honestly, I don't want to have a divorce on her record because it's going to be very hard to marry her again. We all know that a woman who has been divorced is already used goods and is difficult. Go back to your house. So that's number 2. She goes back to her house again. She comes back again. Oh, Imam, my husband, he hit me and, he slapped me. And I think that I was not deserving of that slap. I think that I need to get a divorce. I'm afraid. He gets angry. What did you do to deserve that slap, woman? Well, I was talking back and I refuse to clean the house because I want the divorce. So for that reason, I've been acting out, but that's because I'm depressed. Go back to your house and try to work it out. Then the last time she comes back, then a divorce will be considered. That is a backdoor divorce. That is how women divorce. A man, however, in our culture, a man can divorce his wife by saying 3 times one word. Talak, talak, talak. I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. 3 times, if a man says that to his wife, he can be let go out of that marriage. Why is this? I'm going to ask you guys, why do you guys think that is? I'm just curious as to your guys' thinking of why a woman is not allowed to say talak, talak, talak 3 times and divorce a husband. She can say talak all day. She can sing talak all day in the house. Talak, talak, talak. And it doesn't mean anything. But the moment that the man says talak, 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 why is it that he can get divorced and she can't do it? Let me ask you, why would that be a rule that a man can divorce his wife by saying one word 3 times, but a woman cannot divorce her husband by saying that one word 3 times? In fact, it's so difficult for her to divorce. The reasoning is this: if you give a woman the power to do that, she will do it on a whim. She will do it because she's emotional. She will do it because she's on her period. She will do it because you didn't listen to her this morning when she was trying to tell you her story. Thank you, Magneto. Because he's not emotional. And this is where we talk about the rationale of Easterners versus Westerners. Westerners give women full power of everything because they are in the age of majority. We don't believe that way. We believe women, even after the age of majority, are still not rational beings. And sometimes it takes the testimony of 3 women to count for one for a man. But there's a reason for that. It's because women, if you've ever heard a woman tell a story, if you've ever heard a woman try to give you her version of events, right? This is going to be a long story with how she feels and what she thought and who she knows and what they look like and all. And it's going to be a long story. If you ask a man to tell you what just happened, he's going to give you the facts, the logic, and that's it. He's not going to waste time with a whole story. He's not going to talk about the weather. He's going to tell you exactly what it was and move on. This is the difference between men and women. So, because women are emotional beings and they're not rational or logical, I know a lot of Western women don't want to hear this, but this is the reason why a man in our culture, he has the ability to do that. But guess what? That never happens. Even though the men have the power to do that, talak, 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 they don't do it. If women had the ability to do that, do you know how many talak divorces there would be? This is why I love my culture. I love us because I know it sounds unfair. I know it sounds unfair, especially to the Westerners' ear. Westerners will hear this story and say, that's misogynistic. That's misogynistic. So you're telling me a woman has to tolerate being there and being unhappy and possibly being slapped. Oh my God. And she has to, no one's going to allow her to get out of the marriage. But a man could just wake up one morning and say, talak, 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 and all of a sudden he's divorced. No. The reasoning is it never happens. Men do not do that. They know they have the power to do it. And I've seen men even threaten their wives with it. I've seen it in arguments. Man and woman are in an argument and they're arguing back and forth, and the man says, talak. And she's like, you wouldn't dare. If he gets to the second time for talak, she's like, okay, 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 okay. She's like, okay, okay, okay. I'll just do whatever you said. I'll do it. I'll do it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I got it. Now, would that work the same way around? It wouldn't work the same way around, now would it? A woman doing that to a man is not going to work the same way. So there's your divorce. Now, let's say this actually did happen. Let's say the talak happened. They actually did divorce, right? They divorced. What happens is the man is forced to give back whatever, if she had any money that he was holding, he has to give it back. She doesn't have to give back we don't have a dowry, but we have something like that. We call it mahar. She does not have to give back the money that he ever gave her, because whatever he gave her is hers. She's never forced to give it back. But from this point on, he is in full control of the family, because now he is divorced. He's a divorced man. She's a divorced woman. She can go about her merry way, and he is now in full power of the family. Now the children are his property. The house, everything is his, unless he gives it to her. But that's a different story. But if he chooses to say, you get out, you want to divorce, you get out, The daughter, the son, the dog, the cat, the fish are all mine now. It's my property, my family, my power. Everything is under my power now, my control. He can do that. And she doesn't have to give back anything from the mahar. She doesn't have to give back anything. And he would never take her money because that's not allowed. He's not allowed to take her money from her family. He's not allowed to go into her bank accounts. So that is a way a divorce happens in Middle East style, Islamically anyway. Let's say now we're moving backwards, right? We're moving from divorce and into marriage. So we've already got through the divorce part. You already see what will happen. I don't know if you guys are asking any questions about, yeah, well, I know, Dr. M, I know. See, that's the thing. So Dr. M says U.S. family court never lets the man keep the fish. Yes, even the fish. Even the fish is now under custody of the father. Everything is the father's because we believe that the children belong to the man. The children are property of the man. If you meet a child who is biracial, who's Arab and biracial, the mother's race doesn't matter at all. All that matters is whatever the father was. Whatever your father is your race in our culture. So we don't believe in the mother really having, like I said, we believe that the children belong to the father. So let's say there's a woman whose father is Lebanese and the mother is Korean. This is a very common mix, in case you guys don't know. Arab and Asian is a very common mix now. But let's say the father is Lebanese, the mother is Korean. That girl, if she goes to the Middle East, she can look as Korean as she wants to look. But the moment that people speak to her and they say, "Where is your father from?" "Oh, my father is Lebanese." Then she is Lebanese. We do not consider her Korean anymore. She can speak Korean, she can look, full Korean. But if she says her father is Lebanese, she is now Lebanese. We don't consider the mother because the children belong to the father. And as such, whenever a pair divorces, the children go to the father and the children stay with the father unless the father decides that the mother can have some custody. Or if, even she can come watch the children while he's at work or whatever just to help out, that's fine. But they belong to him. The other thing is, what's the other one I was going to give you? I had it in my head just now. Gosh. What was it? It was something about the children. Anyway, we'll just move on from there because I completely forgot what it was. Next, in marriage. So we're moving backwards. Divorce has already happened. Now forget about that. Now let's go before they divorced. Now they're married. We're back to marriage. In the marriage, what happens is like in the American marriages, you guys have the system where the father gives his daughter to the husband, right? We kind of have the same thing as well, right? We have the same thing as well. But for us, it's not symbolic. It's more real. Like for Americans, it's kind of a symbolic thing that you guys do. But for us, it is very much cemented. Like in our weddings, some of our weddings are like this. Sometimes we'll have weddings where the man has his wedding in one place and the woman has her wedding in the other place. They don't even go to the same room. The only time they go to the same room is for the actual nikah to happen. Nikah is nikah, it actually means sex. It actually means sex because for us, marriage is sex and sex is marriage. We don't believe that sex is a thing of its own. We believe that if you have sex with someone, then that is now your husband. If you have sex with someone, then that is now your wife. So if you are having sex with multiple people, you have multiple wives all over the place. And if you are a woman who is loose with it and has, sex with other people, then you have husbands everywhere. But we believe that sex is marriage and marriage is sex. So for us, the word for marriage is sex in a way. It's one of the words. We have other words for marriage, but the more common one used is nikah. Nikah means relations. So when the nikah happens is the only time that these two are in the room together, and that's when the imam goes through the ceremony in this speech, and you're supposed to give your promises to one another and so on. But aside from that, you have the bride in one house and the husband in another house, or groom rather, groom. The bride is in one house and the groom is in the other house, and that is how the people are married. They're married this way, where the men are having their own celebration and the women are having their own, because we want the women to feel comfortable, and out of abundance of caution, we keep each other separated, because we do not like women mingling around men, women showing off around men, women looking good for other men when they're married. We don't like that. So culturally, we will do that. We'll marry separately. Another thing about our weddings is that our weddings last for days. We have days of weddings, and we'll have the ceremony, we'll have the, what is it called, the family meeting, we'll have a special dinner, and we'll have a reception. And so all of these days are, these are completely different days. But some of those days are meant for the men and some of those days are meant for the women. So after this, I think I had spoken to you guys before about this. Now, this isn't practiced that much anymore, but it is something that still happens in the more rural areas, but it doesn't really happen anymore. But I'll tell you what it is. What happens is, after the marriage, after the whole ceremony happens, the pair go back to the husband's parents' home, because that's usually where a new bride and groom will live. They'll live with the the husband's parents. So that's usually how it is. So the husband's parents will take the new daughter-in-law back to their home, introduce her to her new home, her new room, her new car, her new camels, whatever we have, whatever the family has to offer her. They will make her feel welcome. And of course, sex doesn't have to happen on the first night, but we as the family, they kind of hope it does. So the first night of marriage is very particular, because we'll have the mother-in-laws will do this the week before the marriage. They will have this sheet. They'll have a sheet, and they will wash this sheet to the point of it falling apart. They'll wash it and bleach it and do all kinds of things to it. And they bleach this sheet to be white, 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 white. This thing is so white that there is nothing whiter. I mean, this thing is so white, it makes eggs look brown. You put it next to an egg and it looks brown. So they wash these sheets and they put them on the bed, right? The marital bed. They introduce their daughter-in-law to the house and so on and so forth, and welcome. This is your new home. This is your new bedroom. They let them be alone, the new husband and wife. And they wait for the news that the marriage has been consummated. And when they hear the news of the marriage being consummated, the new mother-in-laws, they run to the room so that they can take the sheet off the bed and hang it outside. And that is a sign of pride. This is a very proud thing. Okay. This is something that is, I think Fix knows what I'm talking about, because Fix, you're kind of from the same culture as me. So I think you understand what, and I don't know if it happened to you, but it happened to me. And this is what happens. So the sheet gets shown to the, and they will leave that sheet hanging for about, a couple days or so that everyone knows that, in case there were any rumors going around that my daughter was a floozy, this quells, or what's the word, quells, beats, defeats, whatever. It shows everyone that was not true. Whatever rumor you heard, here's the proof. She was a girl when she got married. And we call that being a girl. Being a girl just means virgin. So she was a girl when she got married, and now she's a woman. So there it is. And that is, And it's embarrassing, of course, because, who wants that shown to the world? But for for the older generation, they don't see it as embarrassing. They see it as a sign of pride. After that, you continue on with your normal married life, and duties are divided accordingly, of course. And I've already spoken to you guys about this before, about the duties, and how I get so upset when I see all these videos of these men talking about how they need to help their wives, and oh, I'm going to help her clean, and oh, you're not actually helping me clean because you live here too, it's your responsibility. This kind of stuff just really irritates me to no end. But nonetheless, it happens because we live in America, and in America you guys believe that things should be divided equally, and you guys are partners. So this is something that I hate. But in our culture, you guys already know, duties are divided accordingly, according to your gender, which there are only two. According to your gender is what you will be expected to do, right? So that's that. If children are born, when children come, the same thing happens from birth. We don't believe in boys working at all. I've already talked to you guys about this, but I'm just going through the whole rundown because we are going to compare this with American marriages in a second. But anyway, we start from birth that, boys don't do certain things, girls do certain things. All of our sons are circumcised because we believe that this is sunnah for us. Sunnah means it's recommended and it's better for you. It's better for you and it's recommended. So we believe that it's a sunnah that the boys are all circumcised. Female circumcision is not a thing in Islam, but there have been villages in Africa that practice female circumcision. This is not an Islamic practice. This is a cultural practice that is practiced in that village. This has nothing to do with Islam. This is something that Muslims do, but this is not recommended from Islam, if that makes any sense. Just like you have Christians do bad things, but that's not Christianity. You don't judge Christianity by what the Christians do. You judge Christianity by the book and the religion. You don't judge it by what Christians do. Same thing with Islam. Don't judge Islam by what the Muslims are doing. Judge it from what it is, the actual book and the teachings. So, boys are always circumcised. Girls are never circumcised Islamically. This is a rumor. It is a thing that people have in their mind, but it's not true. This happens only in that village in Africa where they believe that circumcising girls prevents them from being whores. I don't know. We believe that that's absolute mutilation and it's cruelty because there's no reason for a woman to be cut and mutilated because she doesn't have anything there to cut. There's no benefit to cutting her. For boys, there's a benefit. For girls, there is not. So for that reason, we don't believe in cutting or mutilating our females. And then as for the culture and what have you, fasting, Ramadan fasting starts at age 7, but it's not really expected until 9. 9 is when you are fully responsible for your own sins in our culture. Now, let's contrast that with America. Okay, so we've already gone through Eastern marriages and divorce and how things are divided and how things are expected to be. I just gave you the very basic expectations in our culture, okay? That's the very basic. That's the very baseline of being a good Arab or a good Muslim or a good what have you. That's the baseline. And for a lot of Americans, hearing our baseline is expecting a lot. A lot of Americans think that that's expecting a lot of you, right? You got to be this way. You can't, your duties and everything have to be separated. And, they expect you to always have to endure in your marriage. And 3 times a woman has to ask to get out. And you got to be a virgin of marriage and taking the sheets and all that. That's a baseline. Like I said, that is just the absolute minimum that you can do. Now, I contrast this with the American marriage. Now, you guys correct me if I'm wrong because I've never been married American. I don't know how it is, but I know what I've seen. And I'm going to give you my version of what I believe happens. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong. American marriage. So let's start how we did in Islam with the divorce. Let's start with divorce and go back into marriage. Divorce happens. You guys can't stand the sight of one another. A woman is allowed to go to any legal office, any law firm, and say, I want to divorce my husband. Most likely, the attorneys will respond with, I'm sorry, guys. Most likely, the attorneys will respond with, how long have you been married? Do you have any children? Do you have any assets? How much of it do you want? Would you like the standard 50%? Or are you aiming for 70? The children automatically will go to you. So, how much do you want in child support? Would you like alimony? That's another option. Just like you can get fries with your burger, you can get alimony along with the divorce and child support too. Yeah. Oh, we'll make him move out and he still has to pay the mortgage. Yeah. I've seen that too many times. As you guys know, this is the field that I work in. I work in the firms, and this is what I've seen. Women have come in saying these exact words, I want to divorce. And the first, without hesitation, is not, oh, please don't divorce your husband, or why don't you guys try counseling? Nobody has ever said that in an American law firm. Would you like us to offer you counseling first? Would you like to reconsider? Maybe ask him to come in and we'll talk about it first. There's never any of that. It's always straight to the division of the assets, the division of the children, and money, money, money. I've never seen the attorneys or anybody push that woman back outside the door and say, go try to work out your marriage. Never, ever, ever. So contrast that against our culture where it's like, go back to your husband, go back to your husband, but he slapped me. Go back to your husband and try to figure it out. No, it's the exact opposite. So here we go. Let me finish. The woman comes and she says, I want to do that. They say, okay, how much do you want? You want to have alimony too as a side? Would you like fries with that? You want alimony too? Okay, deal. Paperwork gets filed. The woman goes back home. She doesn't mention that she's going to get divorced from her husband. They're still having fights, just like in the Arab relationship that I gave you, the example. Husband slaps the woman. Okay, now we have American style. Husband has slapped his wife because the tension is high in the house. They end up having fights. He lost it and slapped her. She comes into the law firm again. My husband slapped me. Oh, he slapped you, did he? Well, there's never a reason to hit a woman. We're going to get him arrested. We're going to get him locked up. We're going to get a protection order for you because I'm sure you fear for your life. Don't you fear for your life? I definitely do. No problem. None to worry. We're going to get a protection order and we're going to make sure he never sees his children ever again. We're going to make sure that in that protection order, we are going to list the children as victims as well. So there goes the paperwork getting filed, off to the court. Now, with the protection order, what happens? Police arrive at the family's home. They tell the husband that he needs to get out. They are there on standby. They'll give the husband a couple of hours, maybe 1 or 2 hours, to pack his things and get out of the family home. And I'm telling you from experience. I've seen it. And this is exactly what happened. The police were on standby. They told him to get out. That now the woman has a protection order. He had to move out. The children stayed in the family home. The wife stayed in the family home. And the attorney said that you also have to pay my attorney's fees, and you need to continue to pay the mortgage of the house that you no longer live in. And you can't see your children. You can't see them for now, but you can actually go to court and ask and beg the judge. You can beg the judge for the ability to see your children on weekends for 2 to 3 hours. You can beg for that. And maybe if the judge is merciful that day, maybe if the judge isn't menopausal that day, maybe if she's not on her menstrual, she will give you the ability to see your children at least on the weekend. So now the children are resenting the father. The wife is sometimes celebrating. I've seen wives celebrate that. I've also seen wives beat up about it. They're very sad about it. But you let this happen, you caused it to happen. So You made your bed, you live in it. And this is how divorce goes, right? The man gains nothing in divorce. The man only loses. Because you could say, oh, he gains his freedom. He gains, peace of mind. He no longer has to deal with her. No, that's not the case, because most men would rather fight it out. Most men that we've seen, the majority, I'm sorry, most men, the majority of men would rather fight out their marriage. They would rather try to figure it out. Most of them don't want to leave, even though they hate their wives. They don't want to leave because they feel a bond to them. They feel loyalty to them. Even if they hate the woman, they'll still stay. So this is the case, and that's the divorce. Now let's go back into their marriage, the American marriage. I've seen that, now correct me if I'm wrong, American marriages start off where the husband gets on one knee and asks the woman if she will be willing to accept half of his assets and half of everything he ever makes and earns, that she can take it in divorce. So that is called a proposal, right? He proposes this and says, please, woman, please marry me. And if you ever decide that you don't like me anymore, you can take half my assets and half of my 401k and my pension and everything else, all of my things. And I will pay the mortgage, even though you kick me out of it. But that's okay. But anyway, I think I'm being too pessimistic. I'll bring that back. I'll stop. Okay, I'll stop. I'm being pessimistic. Let's be real. Please, woman, marry me because I really love you. I like you. And I think that this will work. So the woman says yes. And they're starting the wedding plans. The wedding plans happen. Typically, both families come there and they have one place where both families show up and they meet each other. And the woman chooses a group of women to be her bridesmaids. And the man chooses a bunch of men to be the best man and the bridesmen or groomsmen. And they get married. The father walks the daughter down the aisle. He gives the daughter to the husband. There are rings exchanged. And then these two go off and live in their own home. They don't live with the parents. They don't live with the in-laws. In fact, the in-laws, they don't really have much role. They don't really have much of a role in American marriages. Am I wrong or am I right? Tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm right. I'm reading your comments, or I'm trying to. From what I've seen, the in-laws don't really have much of a role in the marriage for Americans. That Americans, once you're married, you go and you live into your own home and you start your own home and your own life, right? Am I right? Okay. So after the promises were made at the ceremony, which lasts one day, I think your guys' weddings last one day. You guys have one day of weddings, and then the husband and wife go live in their own home, away from both parents. Now that the husband and wife are alone, they have their honeymoon. That's right. You guys have honeymoon, where they go off somewhere remote and to be alone so they can do the doings. And typically the woman is not virgin. But if she is virgin, I don't see that there's any ceremony of virginity or ceremony of this. I don't see any ceremonies happening. I could be wrong. Americans, tell me if I'm wrong. If there is a ceremony and I don't know about it, let me know. Because like I said, what happens to us, what happens to us is a little bit invasive. It's a little invasive to have our mother-in-laws knocking on the door in the morning the next day, asking if they can just borrow your sheet. Can we just borrow your sheets? Just 1 second. And then they go hang them outside. But for you guys, I think it's a little bit less invasive, and you guys have privacy, and you guys, if she was a virgin or not, that's only for you and her to know, right? That doesn't need to be shared with the world if she was virgin or if she wasn't. And I think that's a good thing too, kind of, it's a good thing, but it also makes women more, should I say this? It makes women more okay if they're not virgin at marriage, because there is no pressure. See, for us, there's pressure. For us, if our mother-in-laws come into the room the next morning after our marriage and they see that there is no blood stain on the sheets, sometimes divorce happens. Sometimes they can't accept it. Sometimes the family is devastated. They are like, uh, you know, we spent all this money. We bought things for her mahar. The mahar is the like dowry, but it's not really dowry, but it's just a gift. It's a gift that is mandatory. But we did all these things, and had we known that she wasn't virgin, we wouldn't have spent so much money for her mahar. We wouldn't have done all these things, but you know what I mean? So sometimes divorce happens if there is no proof of virginity after marriage. But in American weddings, I have noticed that it's a very private affair. You guys, yeah, you got. Are you really that? Zealage is like, oh, I get it. Zealage, what did you think the mother-in-laws were taking the sheets for? What else did you think that they were looking for? Like, you seriously didn't get it, Zealage? Oh my gosh. You said I was slow getting it. Zealage, seriously? Do I really have to say every word for you to understand what I'm saying here? Oh my gosh, poor Zealage. Zealage is like, I don't know, were the sheets dirty? It's like, oh my gosh, I love the innocence. I love the innocence of Zealage. But it's something that you guys don't have to deal with, right? You guys don't have to deal with that. We do. We as little girls, we grow up with that fear that we won't stain the sheets, because some girls don't. Some girls just don't. And it's not that they were virgin, but they just didn't stain. And women have died from that. Women have lost their marriages. They've lost their whole future, because now a man never wants to marry you again, because the whole town knows that you didn't stain after marriage, and you lied and said that you were virgin, and they don't believe you. Even though you were, like I said, there's some women who don't do that. And but anyway, so that's the that's the hard thing about depending on a blood stain for proof of virginity. That's just the hard thing about it, because just because a woman is virgin doesn't mean that she will stain. So anyway, I know this conversation is a little bit rough with you guys. I know it's a little bit rough, but back to the Americans. Americans have a bit more privacy that way, and Americans, if the woman was virgin on the wedding night, that stays between husband and wife. Only the husband knows if it was or if it wasn't. So that's cool. So husband and wife continue their life on as a married couple. Wife and husband share every duty in the home. Wife and husband are both expected to clean, cook, work, raise the children, everything. Lawn mowing outside, washing the car, putting gas in the car, whatever. Wife and husband are expected to both do everything. There is nothing that is specifically for women, and nothing that is specifically for men in this American marriage. And wife, if one day comes that she wakes up and decides that she no longer wants to be married, she can wake up and without fault or without fault of the husband at all, she can divorce. And so can he. He can do it too, but he's the one who loses. So, am I right? Am I right with you guys? So, I'm going to read your comments now, but I just want to know, do you guys believe that I have laid it out as it is, or is this idea of mine a fallacy? Is it not real? Is this just something that I believe because I watch American movies? So tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. PG Bear says, no, no, no. Women's work is shared. Men's work is only men's. I don't know about that, PG Bear, because I've seen that women are outside mowing the lawns, and American women are outside mowing lawns. I've seen, well, You know what? You're right. That's a choice. That's a choice for them. It's not expected. It is a choice. So yes, I agree with you there. I agree with you actually. Men are expected to do women's work too, but women are not expected to do men's work. I get it. Okay. Carrie says she ain't wrong. Okay. All right. So I did okay. Okay, I did good. All right. American Patriot says you're right as far as I know. All right. Good. Good. Zealage, I'm not even going to hear your opinion. You didn't even know what I was talking about for half of the conversation. You didn't know what I was talking about. No, I'm not listening to you. Hold on, guys. Let me call. Um, Let me see. Jeremy says, "Can't women lose that riding a horse or another animal?" Yes, yes, and this is another reason why women are not Arab women are not allowed to ride bicycles. They're not really allowed to do a lot of sports is because we worry that she will accidentally break herself, break her hymen, and even though she's virgin, even though she's chaste, that she will be seen as a whore, and she wasn't. It's a huge fear. It's a really big fear for, you could say, Eastern women, because I believe that this happens anywhere from Asia, like China, all the way down to India, all through the Middle East, down to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. We have in Turkey, we have all the same traditions, really. You know, we're all traditional that way. And these traditions that I mentioned, these you could find them in each of those countries that I just named, from China down to India, over to Pakistan, up to Turkey. All of it in the Middle East in between has this. So, yes, uh, riding bicycles. A lot of families will ban their daughters from riding bicycles. From being rough. This is why girls are not allowed to rough house with boys. You know, I've noticed that American homes, they kind of let the girls and the boys play together and stuff, but our homes, we don't really allow that much. You know, we keep the girl children and boy children separate most of the time, and this is why we have girl children doing special girl things. You know, washing dishes, learning how to cook, um, doing the laundry, and so on. We have them busy doing those things while the boys can go outside and play. Um, DJ says no hymen, no diamond. Well, that's the thing. But these girls, even though they don't have a hymen, they're still virgin. And, you know, just because they didn't have a hymen, they got thrown away and they've gotten considered to be whores and that they were lying. The problem is not so much about being non virgin, the problem is lying. Lying and saying that you are a virgin and getting all of the praise for being a virgin and getting the normal treatment for being a virgin, and then you're not. That's the problem. Because if you're not a virgin, there's still many families who will still take that and just kind of brush it under the rug, because maybe they've known you all your life. They've known you and they know you only have one person. You've only been in one relationship or one marriage. And, you know, that's not the issue. The issue is lying. When you go to a family and you say, I'm a girl, and the night of the night, we're expecting girl behavior, and there is no girl behavior. There is all woman behavior going on, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, if you enter a family claiming to be girl and then it's found out that you're actually a woman, it is that's where the problem happens, and that's where a lot of women get killed on their marriage nights, or women will get automatically divorced that at that same night, because a man cannot take it. He can't take the idea in front of his family because he can't even hide it. Because Americans, you guys can hide it because you guys are very private with the night of the night. You know, you guys on your honeymoon, you guys are very private. No one would know that your wife wasn't a virgin except you, unless you told everyone she wasn't. So for you guys, it's easy. For us, our in-laws are waiting at the door in the morning. They're waiting for the news. They want to know, and they come in looking for the sheet because they spent all that time cleaning that sheet and making it so perfectly white so that it could be ceremonially stained, and it was never stained. They did all that work for nothing. So for us, it's different, guys. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's not so much not being a virgin, it's the lie. And a lot of families will not accept a non-virgin. A lot of families, if their son is having his first marriage, they will not accept anything but a virgin. So that's just the way it is. And yeah. And the only time they will accept a non-virgin is if they know that she's already been married. But a woman who has never been married and not a virgin, she'll never get married in our culture. She will never be married because we don't believe in women giving themselves to men that aren't their husbands. You know what I mean? We don't believe in that. We cannot accept it. Our brains cannot accept that this girl, she was out and she had a boyfriend and she did the doings and now she's supposed to get married to my son. No, 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 no. If she was married, it's okay. If she was not married, she will not be accepted. You have seen women who were scared that they wouldn't stain, who have cut themselves. They'll carry a knife with them to their wedding night bedroom. They'll carry a knife, and if they didn't stain, they will cut themselves. They'll cut their foot, cut the bottom of their foot, and so that they can have some blood on the sheet because they're that scared. Because this matters. This is like your future. If you don't do it, if you don't do this, you could lose your life. You could lose your future. You'll never be married again. You won't. You have to move away. You have to move far, far away where no one can recognize you and have to start anew. So this is not something, yeah. Great question. Yeah, that was a good question. Fix says widows didn't get remarried in my village, and that happens a lot. Widows, because widows, if your husband passes away, if your husband dies, you should not remarry because we believe that if your husband died and you are older age, that you, not even if you're older age, even if you're younger age, we believe that you are still married. We don't believe that you're actually divorced. We don't believe you're separated. You are still married and you need to keep your loyalty to your husband even though he's gone because his spirit will linger around, and you being married to another man will create great hurt for his spirit, for him to see you with another man. So you're still married for us. So I understand that too, Fix. That is something, but that's also superstition, but it's also tradition for Easterners. Good point, Fix. Service says, I informed all the families that I've spoken to that if the woman I'm interested isn't virgin, there will be no dowry paid. That is, we don't have that. We don't have that situation. There will always be mahar. Mahar is mandatory no matter if the woman is virgin or not. The only difference is that a woman who is not virgin, she cannot ask for a big mahar. She cannot ask for 30 gold bars. She can't ask for a golden bathtub and all that. The things that virgins can ask for. A virgin can ask for anything for her mahar because she's a virgin. She's a virgin. She can ask for whatever she wants. I asked for a Bentley and I got it. I said, I want a Bentley. And I got my Bentley. But if I was non-virgin, I would be able to ask for things, but I wouldn't receive them. I wouldn't get what I want. I would say, I want a Bentley, but he might show up with a Hyundai. And I would have to either accept that or decline it. So that's the difference between a virgin and non-virgin. But mahar is always mandatory. It's not negotiable if you're going to give her mahar just because she's not virgin. You can't say that because even if she's non-virgin, if you want her to be your wife, you still have to do the things accordingly. Now, you're going to be the one who accepts if she's not virgin or a virgin. So that's your decision, but it doesn't change the tradition. Zone says they were listening to Amira through the door waiting for the red samples. Ew, don't be vulgar. Shadow says, well, also, even if our brides aren't virgins, in the US, virginity doesn't matter anymore thanks to the sexual revolution. And you guys see what I'm saying? This is why virginity should be mandatory, and this is why we have those ceremonies where we take the sheets, because taking the sheets makes it so that it is a sign of pride, and it is something to look forward to. Us girls, we look forward to the day where our sheet will be hung. You know what I mean? And it's something that, I know it sounds crazy, it sounds ludicrous, right? But it's something that brings good pride, and it's something to look forward to. The American virgins, American virgin brides, what do they have to look forward to? I mean, oh, so your husband knows that you're a virgin. Okay, that's great, but no one's going to know. The village isn't going to know, the family's not going to know. It's not really that big of a deal. You guys should make it a big deal so that women will want to keep that, keep their virginity, so they can look forward to that day where they can have something big at the end of it. But if you make virginity seem like nothing, of course women aren't going to value it. They're not going to value it because they're going to say I'm going to have the same wedding whether I'm a virgin or I'm not virgin. It doesn't matter. So for that reason, I believe American women don't believe that they need to be virgin at marriage. For us, like I said, your virginity is the difference between getting a Bentley or 30 gold bars versus getting a Persian rug and a Hyundai. There's a huge difference in what you can expect. A non-virgin bride cannot ask for a big mahar. She can't ask for much. She has to be very humble. But a virgin bride, she can be very, very bratty. She can say whatever she wants. She can get whatever she wants because that's what the husband wanted from her anyway. He wanted her to be virgin. So if he wanted that, you're going to have to pay for it. You pay for it. But that's just the way it is culturally. If Americans did that, I believe that you would see a huge increase of women keeping their virginity for marriage. If you guys gave something at the end of this, if you guys made it a big deal at the end of it, then women would be, what is it called? What's the word, guys? They would be encouraged. There you go. They would be encouraged to keep their virginity. Sharon, hi Sharon. She says, there are many cultures in America. Marriage is different depending on religion and family cultural traditions. Right, but I was speaking about American tradition, not other cultural traditions. American tradition is different from the rest of us. Is it considered acceptable to ride a bicycle after you're married? Yes, you can do whatever you want after you're married. There's no problem anymore after that. Hold on, I'm going down to the bottom, guys. Hold on 1 second. Sharon said, so if a girl is raped or molested as a child, she can never get married. I mean, and no offense, Sharon, but a lot of Americans always bring this point up whenever we speak about virginity. I've noticed that Americans always have to say, but what if rape happens? Well, in the case of a girl being raped, this would be a sit-down conversation. There would have to be a talk before this marriage happens, of course, and the family has to know what happened to her. A lot of times you would see that a lot of families won't accept a girl who has been raped or molested because not only they believe that she might be tainted, that she might have trauma when it comes to sex, and they don't want to have to deal with the normal pressures of a new marriage along with having to deal with the trauma of what happened to her before she was married. And this is another thing about virginity, is that virginity is not just about virginity of the body, it's virginity of the mind as well, and the spirit, having a clean slate. This is why virginity is so important. It's having a clean slate where you haven't have your heart broken, you haven't been used and abused and thrown into the garbage. But culturally, a lot of families will not accept that, not because they don't want to, but they don't want their son to go through this if it's avoidable. All the families want their sons to have the best of the best, or the best option that they can get. And typically, the best option to get is not a girl who has been abused. I know that's sad. It's sad to say. I'm sorry. Um, it's just you have to consider the families and what they're going to have to deal with when they have that. But there are families who do accept. So I'm not going to say every family won't accept it, but the majority will try to avoid it. I'm sorry, guys. Hi, L. L says, in your culture, is it important for the men to abide by religion and be virgin before a first marriage too? Yes, yes, it is. We um, we believe that both should be virgin. So for us, it should be both, but especially the girl. But for boys, there's not really a way to, know fully if he is or he isn't. All we can do is know by his behavior and, the family keeping a close eye on him and making sure that he's not out there trying to, you know, fertilize the land. You know what I mean? He's not out there trying to fertilize the land, you could say. But yeah, so it's important as well for the boy, but it's not really a big deal if the boy isn't or is as much as it is for the girl. Especially because for girls it's easy to have relations. Girls are constantly proposed to for sex and so on. So for a girl it's more important that she stays chaste because a girl is always offered opportunities to have sex. For boys it's not really like that. Boys aren't really offered sex all the time by women. So this is the difference between men and women, right? So for that reason, it's better to find a woman who has turned down many men than seeing have a boy who has been, never offered anything. D14 says, it's bad for men and good for women. The virgin stigma has inverted. What are you talking about in America? Yakub says, virginity does matter. That way marriage is on the decline. Or I think you can say that's why marriage is on the decline. Thomas, he says, one rule from the Hobag handbook is to admit to 1/3 of what her body count is. 1/3. Okay. Dr. M says fresh puniti equals a brand new car. There you go. Like I said, it's all about your mahar, what you can ask for. Any girl can ask for anything for mahar. You guys don't understand the tradition. The tradition is that when a man wants to marry a girl, she can ask for anything for mahar, right? A woman can ask for a cell phone. She could ask for a pair of shoes. She could even ask you to give her your favorite item of clothing for her mahar. It could be something so small and so simple. Or it could be that she asked for 30 gold bars, 15 camels, 20 cows, and so on and so forth. There are women who have asked for all of these things. They're, you know, now the thing is, the reason why women will ask for certain things is that she knows what the man has. If she knows that the man is wealthy, she might ask for a large mahar because she wants him to prove that he wants her or loves her. So she'll ask for a big mahar. But if a person is marrying for love, they typically don't ask for a big mahar. If they're in love or they actually love each other, the woman never asks for a big mahar because she's marrying for love. But she still has to ask for something. She has to. It's obligatory. So it gives a guy insight on the mentality of his woman before he marries her. What she asks for her mahar will let him know what she thinks about or what she's like on the inside or what's important to her. There have been girls who have asked for livestock for her mahar. Now, why would a girl need livestock? These girls who ask for livestock for their mahar, they're not asking for it for themselves. They're asking for it for their family, for their father. And she will take the livestock and give them to her father. And that's another thing about the mentality. If a man is marrying a woman who says that she wants livestock for her mahar to give to her father, a man will love her He will love her so much. He will say, this is a good woman. She's good. She thinks about not herself. She didn't think about getting a new fancy car. She thought about getting livestock for the family to bring in more fortune, because the livestock obviously brings in more money. This is when you give livestock, it's like giving money. So, so this is something that a man will see and he will say, she's a good girl. And then you have Amira, who asked for a Bentley. Gosh, why was I so? Listen, I was young. Okay, I was young. I was like, I want a Bentley. Yeah, what do you want for your mahar, Amira? Truthfully, I wanted a jet, but I'm gonna say, I wanted a jet. Okay, I wanted a jet with Rolls Royce engines, but I didn't ask for that. I said, oh, just a simple car. Just a simple car will be good enough for me. Really, Amira? What kind of car? It's just, a very common kind of car. It's very common in London. It's a common car. It's not really that expensive. I mean, it's not like it's a Rolls Royce or something. I'm not asking for like a Lamborghini. What kind of car, Amira? Just simple old Continental GT. Continental GT? Well, we'll have to look that up. What is that? Is that a Bentley, Amira? Huh? I didn't even know it was a Bentley. I thought it was a... Yes, that's what I want. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so old Blindy says, my church won't accept or approve of outside of marriage. I don't understand what that means. My church won't accept or approve of outside of marriage, but it not the end of the world either. It's just frowned upon or even shunned. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know if you're talking about
sex outside of marriage, I believe.
Oh, I see. So the church will not accept sex. They won't accept or approve sex outside of marriage, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, I understand. It's even frowned upon or shunned. Well, that's the thing, and it should be. It should be. And I believe that the church, or not even the church, the traditions should say, you can't expect too much if you're non-virgin. If you aren't a virgin, you can't expect too much out of your marriage, or not out of your marriage, but out of the ceremony and all that. You can't wear a white dress. If you're not virgin, you can't wear a white dress. You can't do certain things. There's going to be certain parts of the marriage ceremony that you won't be able to celebrate because you're not virgin. Like no. So that should be the consequence to being non-virgin, that there should be some consequences there. And yeah, and there should always be prize and lots of praise for a virgin, because like I said, with women, shame works extremely well. This is the reason why girls in school, they are so scared of other girls, because being shamed for a girl or for a woman works. If you shame a girl, this is a big motivation for a girl to act right. And if you shame her and say you weren't virgin at your marriage, you're not going to get what Mary Sue got. You're not going to get what Heather got, because they were actually virgins and they kept their chastity. They kept themselves, for their husband. You, on the other hand, you can have a wedding, but it's not going to be as grand. It's not going to be as beautiful. And that white dress that you love from the catalog, put that back. Put it back. You can wear a brown dress. Go get the pink dress. You can wear off-white. But you can't wear that beautiful white gown. No, the white gowns are for virgin girls only. That's what you need to do, because shame is a beautiful thing. Shame works. It really does work. You can wear the brown dress. And if she's done it with more than one man, black dress it is. You're wearing black. But I don't want to look like I'm at a funeral. Listen, it is a funeral. It's a funeral because it's a funeral for your dignity. Today, we are here. We are gathered here today. to We are here to put something 6 feet underground. Today, we are here for the funeral of your dignity. This is the reason why we are all dressed in black here today for this ceremony of the I love it. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. But it should be. Listen, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. She said off white. You can listen, and that's only if she's only had one person. Now, if she's had more than one, black it is. You can only wear black if you've been with more than one man. You can't. No, no, no. Like I said, if you've been with one man, you can wear pink. You can wear a yellow dress. You can wear off white. Wear polka dot dress. You could wear red. But if you've been with more than one man, two men, black. Black. Because we're at a funeral. This is a funeral. This is not a wedding. This is a funeral. Oh man. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. Oh, Lippo. He said, why do you think the groom has a black suit? Oh my god. That is so seriously true. Oh. Yakub says a brown dress is the way to say that she's full of it. No. Okay, let me see what you guys are. I'm reading you guys' comments. I'm sorry. Oh, Marcus says it's Sunday. God strike me if I'm wrong. Drew says, how does your culture look at marrying outside of their race? Outside of their race is there's many aspects to it, but mostly we care about if the person is the same culture and religion. Now, for us as Muslims, it's not so much about your nation, it's about your religion and your culture. Do you follow the same traditions as us? Are you and I going to clash if our cultures are not, matching? That's more of it is with us. Excuse me. But yeah, so it's not really a huge thing, but it is mostly about culture more than anything. D-Day says, I honestly just want marriage and relationships to get to an acceptable level to where our society doesn't die from not enough people being born every year. Well, there's still children being born, D-Day, but the problem is they're being born to single mothers. And we're having, it's really not about the birth rate. It's about keeping families together because, what's the point of the birth rate staying good if the families aren't together? It's making a worse society. It's just creating more rotten people who don't understand the necessity of the group, of the family, of staying together. I'm going to put the link into the chat. If you guys want to come talk to me, you can. But I do need to get to Larry's list. So since I've already talked your guys' ears off, I want to now piss you off with the news. Are you guys ready to be pissed off? Are you guys ready to be pissed off? Because I am. I am me first, teacher. All right. Hold on, wait. I think Rachel. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's get pissed off. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just looking at some. Zone says, wear that dirty dress, non-Virgin Mary. Wear that dirty dress. All right, let's begin. All right, so let's get some news in. So we are gracious to our Larry, our local Larry, for putting together a list this week and every week for us. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Let's begin with politics, shall we? Because I don't want to start with LGBTQIA because you guys know how I get. So let's just start slowly and work our way in. Okay, we're going to take this slow because If we go fast, I get very irritated. All right, let's go. Now, first, in the news, Team Biden saves him from a curious reporter, or for a group of curious reporters. I want to get my glasses. I'm going to get my glasses because I want to be able to read properly. I, I, I hope. Hold on, guys. Who is texting? Yeah, I dropped them under this table over here. All right, here we go. Oh, Rachel wants to go out. Rachel. I'm going to tell her to come onto the stream. She probably won't. Okay. All right. Here we go. After finishing his speech this past Thursday in Saginaw, a Biden aide informed inquisitive reporters that Biden would take a few questions. How surprising. You guys know he never takes any questions, and the only questions that he does take are from his own staffers who create questions. Okay, so they said that Biden would take a few questions. This declaration apparently was not cleared with Biden's handlers, okay? Because as soon as the aide finished speaking, the other staff members raised their hands and walked towards the reporters to get them out of the room. The staff members were heard saying, and I quote, "Thank you, press. Back to your cars. Thank you, press. Back to your cars." The move sparked several clips and commentary on Twix about how Biden was handled, with one contributor in attendance commenting on how his handlers swooped in like the Secret Service to separate him from reporters. That's really bad. And I met somebody the other day who said that they prefer Biden over Trump. And I think this is the reason why. They prefer presidents that are quiet and kind of non-existent rather than a president who's actually out there and unpredictable. This is what they want. They want predictability, they want security and safeness and all of that, but little do they know they're getting the exact opposite. Just because a president is quiet and there's not much drama going on doesn't mean that he is keeping you safer at all. But anyway, this is what it is. Team Biden saved Biden from bloopers and all kinds of hiccups. In other news, AI, artificial intelligence, will be teaching our kids in this near future. Thanks to developers in Colombia, teachers in Brooklyn are being trained to use YourWhy. YourWhy is an AI teaching assistant. The company, called the Learning Innovation Catalyst, created the software to cut down on the amount of time it takes teachers to create lesson plans. With this new AI assistant, teachers will enter the required information and standards that they want to create in the app, and then from there, the AI will generate a lesson plan. This will allow the teachers to quote unquote think creatively. This will enable the teachers to think creatively with their time instead of creating the curriculum. Some educators are skeptical of this system due to some AI programs producing left-wing ideologies and historical inaccuracies. Others have serious concerns about leaving lesson planning to a machine instead of with a person. And we already know AI is highly confused. Let's just say that. We know that they're confused because when people typed in AI, give me a picture of Mozart, give me a picture of Beethoven, they came out looking like people from what is that show? What is that show, guys? They came out looking like they were hosts from the BET network or something. They made Mozart black, Beethoven was black, King Charles was black. I didn't even think Brad Pitt got away, right? I think even Brad Pitt was made to be black. So if AI is going to be teaching our children, you already know what it's going to be. We already know who's controlling AI. Now let's go into LGBTQIA plus pedos plus everything sick. I'm not ready, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it because we have to. Because it. All right. In the news, LGBTQIA plus pedos plus everything sick. A new hack for rainbow couples has been invented for them to conceive. Conceive what? Conceive what? Conceive the idea that they are an abomination. What are they going to conceive? You don't need to be conceiving anything except conceiving in your head the idea that you're an abomination, that you're mentally ill and you need help. That's the only thing you need to be conceiving. You need to get, okay, I'm sorry, am I already ranting? All right, okay. Maybe the article is not bad. Maybe it's not what I think it is. So let's read. Scientists.
You did get the backup channel made, right?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you for your commentary. Samuel, go to the naughty corner. Scientists say they're on the horizon of helping those suffering from infertility and same-sex couples that want children without using a surrogate. The procedure involves the cloning process that was used to create a clone of Dolly the sheep back in 96. The procedure turns skin cells into a human egg that can grow into an embryo. Oh, heck no. Oh, no. You don't merrily down the stream. Merrily. This is an abomination. No, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. You don't play with God. You don't play with... What kind of humans? What are you making? There is something that happens in the womb of a woman when a child is growing, right? There's something that happens because the woman and the child connect, right? They have a connection. And that connection kickstarts the brain of the child. That natural listening to the mother's heartbeat as it's growing, listening to the mother's voice, the experience. You cannot recreate that. What kind of humans will you make that have not experienced that? What kind of humans will they be that grow in a tube? What kind of humans? What are you doing, scientists? What are you doing? Do not. The procedure turns skin cells into a human egg that can grow into an embryo. When interviewed, OHSU lead study author named Shukrat Mitalupov said that the goal is to produce eggs for patients who can't have their own eggs. The article also states that this procedure could revolutionize, it's going to revolutionize something. It could revolutionize the way gay men start families. Are you? It is Ramadan. It is Ramadan. Haram, haram, haram. أنا أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله العظيم. ليش أنا ليش يعني ليش أنا ما أقدر ما أقدر. I can't do this. I cannot do this in Ramadan. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I can't do this. I can't. There is no way I am going to make it to Ramadan without making a bad sin. I am going to say a word that is going to get me in trouble. I have to remember it is Ramadan. It is Ramadan. It is a beautiful time. The moon is in the sky. Guys, say it with me. Say it with me. Ashhadu. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If you guys say that, it means something else. But ashhadu is not a bad word. It's anyway, Muslims will understand, but you guys don't. But anyway, let's just let's not. Am I rocking? I'm rocking again. I'm sorry, Mr. Renegade. I'll stop. Mr. Renegade says that when I rock, I'll do something bad. I'm gonna stop. I'm stopping. The article states that this procedure could revolutionize the way gay men start families, since they won't need to donor an egg to do the job. They won't need a donor egg to do the job. Because this technology could be used for heterosexual families, heterosexual couples, married people who want children, but instead they want to use it for the fags. They would rather use it for the fags. You know, I even though I don't believe that this technology is a good thing, because I don't believe that we should be making children outside of a womb of a woman. I don't believe that we should be doing that. But even if you were to do it, it should be only done for married couples who are looking to start their families. Because listen, I'm all for married couples bringing children. You know, this is what we want. This is the reason why we want people to get married, is to bring children. We want you to reproduce. We want you to. And if it's hard, then find a way. But to say they're going to use this for evil, you're going to use this for evil. First of all, I need to read something else. We need to read something else. We need to move on. All right, here we go. Next, in LGBTQIA plus pedos plus everything sick news, parents confront a school board after a teacher was caught forming a student LGBTQIA club. Pissed off parents confronted the school board of Elk Grove. They were all united, demanding answers after finding out that the quote-unquote UBU club, which was created by a third grade teacher for LGBTQIA students. A third grade teacher made a club for the students called UBU Club. These people love messing with children. They love it. They can't live without it. UBU Club. UBU. Oh. See, you get all right. Oh boy. For me, it would be You Be Buried 6 Feet Under Club. You Be Unalived Club. You Be Wishing You Never Made That Club. There's a lot of other names for that club that I have. I have a whole litany of names for this club. But all right, let's get back to the article. The teacher, the third grade teacher who created the club, then invited 4th through 6th grade students to attend private meetings held by the club. Parents told the board that no permission slips or notifications were given to the parents. Of course not. Of course not. Why would the parents think that this person will want them to know what this pervert is doing with their children? Why would they think that there will be a permission slip or a notification? Why? Why would you ever think that they want you to know what's going on? Oh, silly parents. Why would you think they want you to know? Of course not. Of course, there wasn't any permission slips. But the parents told the board that no permission slips or notifications were given to the parents, the majority of whom voiced their opposition to the club. However, a small number of parents were in favor of the club. Faggot parents. Faggot parents. Faggot parents. I need an escape. Exile Lioness 3 will be up and running shortly because I think that if Larry keeps putting articles like this in our weekly news, we are going to need Exile Lioness 3 to be up and running shortly. However, a small number of parents were in favor of the UBU club, with one mother proclaiming, of course it was a mother, of course it wasn't a father, because of course, single mothers, with one mother proclaiming it to be vital for the overall health and well-being of the children that this club be open and running. She went on to say that non-supportive parents will, quote unquote, suffer. Another mother countered this reasoning, saying that supportive parents will suffer, and that she said that she's not ready to have, quote unquote, that conversation with her second grade child. And she doesn't need to have that conversation with a second grade child. She really doesn't. Second graders have a lot more to focus on than their sexuality. They have a lot more to focus on than trying to figure out how to diddle the butthole of another child. They have a lot more to figure out than I'm stopping, Samuel. Samuel, I stopped. Yeah. I stopped. So the mother who was countering this said that she's not ready to have that conversation with her second grade child, and that those kids are too young to wrap their heads around what an LGBTQIA content means to them. For now, the club is on pause while the district consults its legal department. Elk Grove United has several identity clubs across its school campuses, and their decision on this matter will affect all of them. All right, I've had enough. Have you guys had enough? I've had enough. Listen, I'm ready. I've had enough. I don't want I'm
Hello?
Say something.
Something.
The floor is yours. I don't want to say anything.
Oh, that's not good. How's the weather?
أنا نفسي أكون سكت. أوكي؟ أنا نفسي أكون سكت. ما أبغى أتكلم. لا أنا ما أقول شيء. خلاص. I'm not going to say anything. أنا نفسي أكون سكت. Okay? All right? I know. No, 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 not you will not. I am already in a bad mood. Listen. I don't want to see
I'm
your
Will.
face.
How you doing today, man?
I don't. How did you know? I don't want to see your
Because
face
How's
right
it
now.
going?
No,
The
How you doing, man?
no.
conservative
Long time no see.
degenerate is in the building.
Not my
Listen,
favorite,
I'm
but
having a
top
bad-
10.
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
How's it
Oh.
going? I gotta tell you, man. Oh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, your friend Rachel. When she hung out with you and you told her that you showed her like you showed her like a different world or something like that. In my opinion, I just think that you showed her a brand new world on the magic carpet. No pun intended, by the way.
You know, everything that comes out of your mouth just sounds dirty for some reason. I don't even know why it sounds dirty.
Hey, I'll help you improve that one song that you did. Smash, smash, smash your hoe, fill her full of skeet. Now she builds her body count. Now she's full of once she builds her body count, now she's for the street.
Okay, stop. Let's get him up out of here. See, I was trying to hit the block button the whole time and it didn't work. It was like getting stuck. Listen, Will, you just got here. How long has he been here, Shadow?
I think that was a solid 37 seconds would be my guess.
I would think so too, around 37 seconds, because
Yeah,
I know it
37
didn't.
seconds.
See,
Good record.
It was
Quick
almost a
speed run.
record.
This is about your
Good speed
culture. I have
run.
a quick question. So you mentioned that a woman who gets ran through faster than the 0 to 60 time of a Tesla Roadster cannot get a golden bathtub or something about like can't get anything. So let's say the golden bathtub is the grand prize, right? Would the
Mhm.
golden shower be the consolation prize?
All right, let's get you up out of here. See, this is and I just brought him back. That was okay. That was like another 20 seconds, I think. He's almost been here a minute.
Pain.
He's
Ugh.
almost been here a minute, Dr. M. Almost. Oh my gosh.
By the
Are you
way,
having
shout
fun?
out to go ahead.
No, go ahead. Just take over. Are you having fun? Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say shout out to every woman named Lana. Just don't say her name backwards.
You know, it took me a second to get that last week when you said it.
I thought that was going to be a Lana Rhodes joke.
Well, if you say her name backwards, what would it be?
It's the
then?
same thing,
Her
I
first
know.
name.
Yeah.
Do you just sit there and like write these things down?
Actually,
Well,
quick question.
what?
Here's another question about culture and chastity, and I have a
Wow.
lot of respect for that, but I do have a question. Let's
Go
just say, by chance, right? Instead of taking it in her secret garden, instead she had to take it through her exhaust pipe. But her secret garden is maintained. Does that still count as her getting a white wedding?
I am not going to. Listen, I'm taking everybody off right now. All of you guys are going off, Shadow. You know what? If you want me to do this, I'm going to address it, okay? This is something that I don't need any commentary for. So I'm going to take you down for 30 seconds. This is something that is very common. It is very common in our culture, in our countries, to find women that really want to have an experience, but they don't want to give away their virginity from the front region. There will be women who use their behinds in relationships and then they save their front for their husbands. Now, this is something that happens, and now you'll see families and men who, before they get married to a virgin girl, they will have her checked front and back before they get married to her to make sure that she has not been exposed to poles and pipes and all kinds of kebabs and all that. The other thing is, in the Middle East, it is very common to see re-virginity surgeries. Women who have messed up, gone with a man, they fell in love, as you could say, they wanted to do the American way, and they lost their virginity, and then they go to the re-virginity surgery doctor and get their virginities put back. But there is a record of this and it can be found out. So in the Middle East, there's no thing as HIPAA. There's no such thing as HIPAA in the Middle East. You can find out who has done these things, and the men stay far, far away from girls who do the re-virginity surgeries. If you've lost it, you've lost it. Just accept it. And being non-virgin from the back, it still counts as being non-virgin because you aren't clean slate. You're not clean slate. You are tainted. You've been used. And even if you've been used from your ears or from your rear or from wherever, you are still used. You're not considered virgin anymore. So, yeah, if you've had a guy go on you, you're not a virgin. Okay. So does that help you?
It does. So you're saying that she was used goods before she was, or actually, I'm sorry, she was used good before she became used goods.
Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Go ahead and play with your words. But yes, something like that.
Sí, pero,
I did not get a single word that he just said. That mic audio.
Neither did I. And it sounds
He's
like he's
also
with
muted
other
too.
people. No, he just
Or
muted
he
himself.
just muted himself.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, but the thing is, I think he's with other people. Detox, if you're with other people, it might not be a good idea to talk right now. You think it's the best time? Unless you can get somewhere quiet.
yeah. Hold on. I just got to take care of something real quick. I'm going to be on in like 2 minutes. So just give me
Okay.
a couple time.
Good man.
I'll be here. Go on.
Mhm.
Lippo says mute. Everybody has to mute because there's an echo. Oh, sorry, Will. You
It's
can
all
do it
good.
again. Okay, I did it now. Okay. Was I going to tell you? Lippo says it is in the act and the thought that counts, not where it was. Exactly. There it is. Like I said, because if you've already experienced the heat of passion, do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you use the front or the back. You've already experienced the heat of passion and all of that. This isn't going to be your first time going through heat of passion. So you're no longer a virgin. So for us, that doesn't count. You're not, yeah. It doesn't count because for us, it's not just about, oh, you bleed and you do this. It's not about the bleeding. It's about the actual clean slate. So if you're not an actual clean slate, that blood means nothing to us.
It's the it's the psychological imprint. A woman who sexual intercourse is supposed to be something that it psychologically releases hormones and stuff like that that binds a person together. So if you just basically do it, whether you're a guy or a girl, if you just have a ton of it, whether it's going to be in the case of guys an excessive amount of serotonin, or in the case of women, I'm blanking on the name of the hormone, but it's like the one that basically partner bonds you, for lack of a better way to phrase it. What was it?
Oxytocin.
Whatever she just said. I'm a dumb American. I can't
I
pronounce
wanted to
things.
address that. I'm sorry, I didn't know you're still talking. My bad. I wanted to address that comment about the act. I thought it was pretty much. I thought it was the act inside the thought that counts. Pun intended.
Go ahead, Shadow. Finish your thing, please.
So it's a biological and physiological response as well as a psychological one. If you have an excessive amount of sexual intercourse, you're not going to value it as much. And if a relationship, and if you build a relationship around that kind of interaction, I mean, obviously marriage is more than that, but for a lot of people, it's, at least in the West, it's really not. For a lot of people, it's basically a contractual obligation centered around intercourse. And if you devalue intercourse because you just do a lot of it in your 20s, by the time you actually lock in with that person, or that person who's supposed to be your partner, you don't really care about that. And it's going to affect your emotional state considerably.
And it doesn't matter if you didn't do it in the front at that point. You're still not virgin. You've been through it. But BTK posed a question: does self-service count? The only time it counts is if a woman is penetrating herself. If she is using a finger or an item, that is when you're no longer considered virgin. But if the woman is only touching her outside, you're fine. You're still considered virgin, of course. But that is something, and this is a conversation that was talked about actually in the presence of a religious leader. Our religious leaders actually had to have this conversation because there were so many questions coming in from the community of if the girls were allowed to touch themselves or pleasure themselves before marriage. And he actually had to say it, and he turned bright red as he was saying this. And he was like, well, if as long as they don't penetrate themselves.
Another question, Amira. When they inspect her tailpipe, right? What do they look for? Are they looking for any tearing or anything what's left over of the hot dog flavored water inside her chocolate starfish?
looking at the hand.
Like, what do they look for?
You're looking at the hymen or labia,
No,
not
I'm
the.
not talking about the hymen. I'm talking about if she takes the Lana spell backwards. Like, what do
This
they look
nigga.
Now let's just say this: what if she were to drop a load inside a dog, and it
Bro, you
happened
just be
to
talking crazy all
tear
day,
her-
bro.
Would they mistaken that she was penetrated? Instead, maybe she just dropped a big load, and it just so happened that
Oh
she
my
dropped
God.
a tear.
Will, get this dude off
I'm
the
just saying.
channel. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, bro. Get him out of here. You're being grotesque.
I'm just asking.
It's not funny anymore. It's just not
It's not
funny.
cool, bro. It's annoying. It's
I
like
was just
we're trying to
asking.
add value to this conversation, and you're trying to be a comedian, and you're just making yourself look not very appealing at this point. It's grotesque. Like, you can clown or troll or whatever as long as it's funny to everyone else. But when we're trying to have an educated and like value-based
I
conversation,
was seriously asking a question. Yes, I kind of use a little bit of metaphors and stuff, but I was actually asking a legitimate question.
bro, you do this every time you come on stream, bro. Like, just talk to us with respect, man. Like, this it's not entertaining. It's not funny. It's annoying because we're trying to we're trying to build. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what you can and can't say, but like, it gets exhausting after a while, man. Chill.
It's okay. It's all right, guys. It's just the way. That's all. It's just the form of the questions. It's like I understand we want to make some comedy in it, but it's just kind of vulgar. It's a little bit too vulgar, and I know the conversation is already kind of difficult. It's kind of a subject that is not really easy for me to speak about, but I just want to have it in a way that we can, not look back on this and be embarrassed. That's all. So.
With respect to how women and men communicate, I think that was the comments, or you had mentioned something about that earlier, right? So if you ask a woman what day or when is 3 days, right? Just say, okay, that's just, so women have the capability of communicating directly, but most of the time, because of they don't want to seem as if they're lower value, so they kind of beat around the bush about things, right? They communicate indirectly. When dealing with a man that communicates indirectly will not be respected. So like, as a man, you need to say what you mean and mean what you say, because that's all people have to judge your character is when he says it's Thursday, it's Thursday.
That's
right. However, we make an exception for women because they communicate indirectly, and this is kind of known and understood. This is why we're like, when you're young, right, and you find a woman attractive and you get her number and you call her and she tells you she's washing her hair, what she's communicating is that she doesn't want to talk to you, but she won't tell you that because it risks making her feel bad because of the nature of the comment. So you have to understand, as a man, this is how they communicate. This means this. This means that. It's an indirect way of saying a direct message. So they don't want to be the bearer. They don't want to be the bearer of bad news. So they'll beat around the bush about stuff. And your job as a man is to figure it out.
Let me ask you guys a question. When Detox is bringing up a good point, Will, Shadow, Larry, and Detox, I'm going to ask you guys this. In our culture, it has been already shown that we say that it takes 3 women to give a testimony when it takes 1 man to give a testimony. Does that make sense? A lot of people say that is wrong, and it is very dismissive of women, and it's unfair.
You have to put all the information together and gather what the actual message is. So somebody might say they saw you walk across the street, but what a woman will communicate is she felt like it was you walking across the street. And this is something that we have to respect it, because women have their ways. And as a man, you have to just accept that and mean like, okay, either she's going to show up or she's not going to show up. If she shows up, that means she likes me. If she doesn't show up, I'm not going to get upset.
My
The thing
question
is-
to you guys, but my question is, what when you guys hear that, people say that that is unfair and it's wrong. My question to you guys is, would you be offended if you have a daughter and they say that your daughter's testimony isn't as strong because she is a woman and we need at least 3? And if you have a son, that his testimony is accepted even if he's only 1?
Yeah, well, basically that comes down to our
Detox,
communication.
you have been talking the whole time. Nobody else can speak. Detox, hold on.
I'd be like that.
I know. Hold on 1 second. Let me get them first, and then you can go. Please, just let them see. Because once you start, you're not gonna stop. Shadow or Will or Larry.
I would say it's more of a term of phrase than an
Oh.
actual legal standard, in the sense that having been around women, there is a lot of subtext or a lot of expectations of you understanding certain things. Like when I'm having a conversation with my mother and my father says it how it is, and if I don't pick up on it, he calls me an idiot because he's speaking it straight. If my mom's doing it, it'll take a few times because she's trying to explain in her way, or she's saying something and thinking it makes sense when it doesn't. And that's an experience I've had, not with every woman I've ever met, but with many women. And very few men have had that. I've had that kind of interaction with very few men, and those are typically guys who have very limited cognitive functions or impaired cognitive functions due to narcotics or stimulants. So
Yeah.
that said, if a person told me that my daughter's testimony was less physically valid, like we needed to get 2 other women to back it up in court, you better have a damn good reason why, because again, it's a term of phrase. It's not an actual scientific provable thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's talking about how she feels, not like, and women don't know any other communication style but to be indirect. Sometimes you might find women that are very direct, and
you can tell he's my cousin, right? You guys can tell he's my cousin, can't you? You can.
to most men, we would like it if it were that easy to figure it out. And that's, I think, where most frustration and lack of confidence for most men comes from that. Well, she said this, did she mean this? Like you have to accept it for what it is and just say this is what she's trying. You have to decipher what a woman means when she says, like, is it this or that? And which is part of the reason why I think a lot of younger men have major issues and resentment towards women, is the way they communicate instead of just accepting that's the way it is. She'll lie.
Yeah, but Detox, and the rest of the panel, you guys listen to Zealot. Zealot said, "This is I'm reminded why I don't go on a panel that much. This is a hard thing for me to answer." And the funny thing is, like, if I would have asked you guys, "Oh, the opinion of a woman," would you accept the opinion of one woman as a testimony, or would you need 3? And if I said that just about regular women, you guys would more likely say, yeah, I don't really trust the opinion of 1. If it's 3, then I can accept that testimony. But when I say if it's your daughter, then you're like, but I believe my own kid. You know what I mean? You see the difference? You guys speak about women.
There's like
That's all parents. All parents are going to think that way.
Yeah, because we want to give our children the benefit of doubt and be protective at the same time, which you should. I mean, if my daughter told me, look, this guy did something mean to me, it would be my job as her dad to protect her from that person or that event. So regardless of whether it's true or not, what you can decipher is she doesn't like this person, and then you can kind of gauge her motives. Is she doing this because he really did it, or is he doing this because he made him feel bad or her feel bad? So regardless of whether it's true or not, or factual or not, you have to just understand that's how they talk.
You guys say this, but you guys have to realize, even though you guys feel like your daughter is special because it's your daughter, you have to understand, even the women out there, they're somebody's daughter as well. And we see them the way I see them. We have to treat them like we treat our own daughters at the same time too. I believe, even for my own, I would still have to apply the same method that I apply to all women to my own, because I can't treat mine as if she's some special snowflake and she's not a woman. She is a woman with the same woman tendencies that all women can have.
Yeah, that's very true.
I have 3 words that sums up what my opinion on it: trust but verify. Just because she's my daughter doesn't mean that everything she says is correct. And I have been on the I have worked temporarily. I worked at a school, as a as I was growing up as a, like I wouldn't say like a daycare worker, but almost like, you watch the kids and stuff like that for a private school. And I ended up in the principal's office, like one of those kids getting ready to get fired because some girl, one of the teenagers, lied on me about a policy that the school had enacted that morning and told me to do. And this thing I
Yeah.
know, I'm in my boss's office with this girl's parents that's saying something that I had not done at all. And I've seen that with a lot of kids, whether it be boys, men, whatever. I've seen a lot of guys
Yeah.
get damn near chased out of town off of the word of a woman before anybody even asked him his side of the story. And then they find out, oh crap, she lied on him. Or, her version is it's correct to her, but reality says different. So trust but verify, regardless of who it is.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing happened to me. I could tell you stories upon stories upon stories. But I feel like it's so, as like, let's say it were your daughter, you can't let your daughter manipulate you into believing something that's not true, but you also have the responsibility of being protective over that girl, because there are a lot of fucking, excuse my language, there's a lot of really bad guys out there, and then some people are like,
Yeah, who created those bad guys?
single mothers.
Mothers of bastard children.
Pretty much, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you want to protect your daughter at all costs, physically, mentally, like you
Well,
love.
yeah, let me jump in here for a second.
Hold on, she's your creation. You have the responsibility to be protective over this young woman, because you want her to be the best version of herself, and that reflects on your parenting abilities. You see, the thing that really screws up a lot of kids is when they have an extremely angry or disgruntled mother, is that woman will manipulate her children into hating their father, even though, and then they screw them up. Like, look at 50 Cent's situation. His son hates him.
Detox, you're going off topic. I want to get Samuel to answer the actual question before we drift off topic, really quickly, because Samuel wanted to jump in.
Regarding the idea that men protect their daughters because they've got their daughters have them wrapped around there. In the West, that's largely true. I know from my own experience that I would burn the entire human race to ash for my kids in a heartbeat. I know that's not a rational response, it's an emotional one, but I would do it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference is with all these other women. Yes, I recognize intellectually that they are someone else's daughter. I intellectually recognize that this is a similar situation for someone else, but emotionally, I don't care about those women.
I mean, I'm with Keela.
I care about my kids.
Keela says, as a father, do not be your daughter's first simp, because you spoil her. You will make your own worst enemy if you do that. And I believe that he's right, because you're creating the problem when you become your daughter's first simp. You're creating the woman that you hate outside.
Absolutely. But as a parent, there's plenty of books out there, but how many of us read those books? Like, you want to be protective at all costs, but you don't want your daughter to be a hurtful person or abusive person or like a manipulative person. But the thing is, a woman's going to be a woman. A man is going to be a man. You can just push your kids in the right direction. But women know the power they have with their tongue and their expectation that society will protect them. So they will claim to be victims when they're not, because they know that society will protect them, even if what they're saying false. She's still my daughter. It's a luxury.
Yep, they get the benefit of the doubt, even when they do wrong.
You said even in the benefit of the doubt.
Oh no, I was just saying they get the benefit of the doubt when they do wrong. I noticed in this society. But again, what seems to lack is shame. Shame. I agree. Shame is needed. We need to make shaming great again.
Told you.
I was expecting a joke, not a base take.
I know.
No, Will is really base. I promise
Oh,
you, Will
he's
is really based. He's just
oh,
he
he is
likes to
super
keep
big.
things up. He likes to keep things lighthearted because when things get
Mhm.
really serious, his brain doesn't like to focus on like heavy. He likes to be lighthearted. I always appreciate Will, but sometimes Will, you go a little bit too far. Just
Yeah. What
sometimes.
would you do? What would you do in a scenario where your daughter told you a guy hurt her and you knew for a fact that wasn't true? What would you do in that situation? You'd be protective, but trust and verify.
You said a guy what her? You said a guy
Hurt
what
her.
her?
Hurt.
Okay, if a guy hurt her, well, I would ask this. I would ask about the situation first. I would make sure she's okay, and I would take
Yeah.
her, and I'd probably go take her to get looked at. That's the very first thing I do, depending on how severe the hurt was. That's the first thing. Then I'll start asking questions.
Yeah. So you care,
You know,
but
I'll
you
be
want
like,
to
okay, we're gonna,
verify.
you know, I'm gonna verify before we go to the cops because I don't want this to then become something else.
Yeah, it's
Well,
a
see,
parent's dilemma. As a
that's
man,
100% fair. Hold
yeah,
on, hold on.
as a man, knowing the damage that a woman's mouth can have on your reputation, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but you also want to be protective of your daughter. So you have to go about it like, the thing is, when a woman tells another woman, "Hey, this guy, SA'd me or did something," the woman is going to process that as, "Okay, I feel your pain. So what do we do next? Right? Let's take action." But
Look, man, where I'm from,
if-
we
hold on,
bury
hold on,
men.
hold on.
We bury.
If-
Just give me a second, man. We bury animals like that. But the fact is you want to be sure that that is the actual animal that did the deed. Because if you bury the wrong dude,
you're going to hell. Yeah. So the thing is, you can't be unprotective of your daughter unless you know what she's doing is lying, right? So if a woman tells a lie, and this is your daughter, you need to show her the negative consequences of being a manipulative person. Is you're going to end up alone. Like my mom, she's alone. Nobody wants to be with her because of all the mental abuse that she put all three of us through from the time we were, since 1991, 92. She lost control of her mind and she went from being like a loving mother to an extremely abusive mother. And she doesn't even realize that's what she's doing with her words. She constantly projects onto my dad, like, your dad did this, your dad did that. And the thing is, we see right through it because we were there. We experienced it. She's physically beat up my sister, like put her hands on her, tried to ruin her graduation. And then you can see submissively, like my mom craves and needs my sister's validation, but my sister is not going to accept that crap. Like, she put us through hell, man. She basically ruined us as people, and my sister just happened to make the right choices. So I wouldn't say that my sister.
I'm sorry that you had to go through that detox. You want to know something else? When people go through that, people always say that the woman, the mother is always Mother Teresa. We always feel for the mothers, respect the mothers, but so many mothers turn out to be like what you experienced, detox.
Crappy people, man. Like, just the worst kind of person you would ever want as a parent. They can be that way if they're angry enough. Like, let's say you're married to a man, right? He might potentially step out on you, as most men feel the urge to do, right? I'm not saying that if you're married, you don't cheat on that woman, right? If you're gonna have another woman, you be upfront about it. Okay, if you're gonna be a guy that has 3 and 4 and 5 women, you don't need to lie about it. The problem comes is that most men are scared to admit what they want, so they can't be direct about it, and then the woman feels pain. And when a woman feels pain, boy, there's no hell on there is no hell on earth that is hot enough to stop her from getting society to hate this man, even if he was a good man. He just made a mistake. And as men, we're not perfect. We're doing the best we can. We want to be great, loving, caring, providing people to the best of our ability. But that's a huge expectation to accept. Do you think this person is always going to be Superman? It's hard. And women just don't.
Detox. You gotta detox. You preaching now. We have a panel here. It's not just you. We gotta get some people. Guys, do you guys want to say anything? Look at Detox. See, that's your problem. Your devil horns are showing, Detox. You need to get your own channel. No, you need to get your own channel and preach over there. That's what you need to do.
Hey, look, I'm just trying to add some value to the conversation. It was a hellish experience, and I think my life would be 20 times better if I didn't have an abusive mother. But this is what I got.
Yeah.
You know what? It could have made you better, right, Larry?
It can. It's my
Yeah.
choice. You're absolutely right. 1000%.
Larry,
But
Yeah.
Larry,
Right.
Larry.
What?
I'm trying to get you to talk so Detox can stop talking.
say something, bro.
Somebody needs to jump in, because if you don't,
Larry, what do you
he's
think
gonna
of
keep
the weather?
going. He has story
Larry.
for days.
Is it sunny where you are right now, Larry? Is the weather good?
Somebody's
No,
Pitch
stop.
black
All right.
outside,
Chronic
and it's
screen. Yeah,
quiet.
he opens a panel, I get on his screen.
Okay, in absolute in absolute seriousness, it's like men, women, they're both human. They're not perfect. You're always going to have problems, and every situation is going to be case by case. You know, you shouldn't trust all men unless you know that that man is good, and you shouldn't trust all women unless you know that that woman is good.
No, it
like-
doesn't work that way, Shadow. Not in this case. I tell you, it doesn't work that way. We could say that, oh, not all men are trustworthy, not all women, but I have got to be honest. You can find more women that will do you wrong and smile in your face the next day than men who will do that.
Oh no, I absolutely know that.
Absolutely.
I've recently discovered that about a coworker like literally today, actually. So if
What happened?
there was any day where I would not trust women at all, it'd be today. And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably being a little bit too white pilled. I probably should be taking my black pills, but it's like,
What'd
I
you
don't know,
do?
like
No, black pill is something different, but yeah.
to answer your question, Detox, she was basically asking out a bunch of different guys and then not committing to any of them. I was one of those guys. She asked for my number. I was trying to coordinate something, ghosted me. I find out today she was asking out one of my other coworkers, and she got mad at him for ghosting her when he was off technology because he was dealing with some family stuff. So it's like total hypocrite, total sociopathic bitch.
Wait. So these are the long
You
way
don't have to.
around.
You don't have to. You don't have to call her. You don't have to call her.
Hold on, Detox. Wait,
He
hold on,
said-
Detox. Now,
Oh, you guys
Amber
speak
wants
the
me to say
truth.
something. I'll say something. That's not the
This
first
is-
time I've seen that. I saw a girl do that to 7
I
guys.
was trying to say something. Oh my god.
Well, you wanted me to talk?
He's gonna kill us all.
I was trying to tell you guys that this is Shadow's way of saying that he needs an extension. We gave him 3 months. He already used up 2, and now he's saying he almost had something going, and now he needs an extension because she turned out to be a whore. Go ahead, Larry.
you
That's what that
perceived
translates
all of
to.
that in the span of 1 second. Like what? See, women are fast.
Yeah.
Bro.
Where are these white babies at, Shadow?
Right. We told him 3 months to get it started. So he's basically telling us he had an idea. He had somebody, and then now it didn't work out. So he needs an extension of time. How long do you need,
I
Shadow?
tried to and didn't
Look,
even
man,
get the freaking
It doesn't take 3 months to get to know a woman. It takes a couple days. Right? Like if you're in a committed relationship, okay, she might change her ways based upon how loyal and supportive and loving you are. And then there's a lot of guys that just get dumped because she found a better option. You can't have a problem with that. Like a woman is going to do what a woman
I
does.
don't. No, I don't. I just am. See, so when in the beginning of this, when she asked for my number, I knew it was going to go this way. I absolutely knew it was going to go this way. I didn't want to think that way. And then it turned out being, no, I was right. Every bad thing that I knew was going to happen, happened.
You
I
were
was right.
hopeful.
If you, what are you mad about if you were right?
Yeah, if you
Because
were
I
right,
didn't
you
wanna be
knew
right. I
like
wanted
well,
to be
you were hoping it'd work out, but it didn't, and you knew it wasn't going to work out. Well, then you stepped into that situation with the mind frame like this is going to fail. She's going to do something I don't like, and for the most part, that's okay to be hyper perceptive, but your belief creates your reality. If you think she's going to step out on you, it's because you're not doing your job. So you can't blame the woman for doing what
Didn't
women
even
do.
Get to the step of a relationship. That's the thing. It was
Oh,
asked for my
why
number,
not?
ghosted me, asked out a different guy within like a day or two of asking for my number.
Mm-hmm.
Got mad at him for having family problems. That's
Move-
effectively the timeline.
Move
So then what's
on,
the
bro.
problem? Well,
Move
it's your win.
on.
You won. What's the problem?
Bullet dodged. Call it good.
You were
It's
like
not a
Neo
bad
out
problem.
there. You saw you saw the bullets coming, and you dodged it right there. You know
But
when she was like one of those agents, and you were like Neo out there going, doing that
Yeah,
little
exactly.
slow motion.
The-
More or less.
So what's the problem? If you knew it was going to happen, why didn't you avoid the situation or find a better quality of woman? I think most guys are just taking what they can get instead of going what they're worthy of. Because most of us feel like we're not good enough. Most of us feel like we're not good enough.
Paranoid, because I know I'm paranoid, and I thought this was just paranoia until it happened. That's my problem.
Well, the thing is, if you walk around,
I wanted it to be paranoia, because if I was right,
bro, she probably ghosted you because you weren't confident enough and you let your fear control your reality instead of going after what you want and what you deserve and like a good quality woman. If you find a good woman, bro, you're not lucky. That doesn't happen by luck. When you find a good woman, it's because you approached a good woman. Do you understand? They don't end up in our life because of luck, right? You might meet her, she's awesome, you guys hook up, first date, second date, amazing time. That didn't happen by accident. You were direct, you went after what you found attractive, she saw that, she wants you. If you're going through life with all of these negative fears, you're always going to attract more negative stuff, bro. There's a difference. It's not luck. Luck comes in the long term, right? You have to decisively say, I'm going to judge this woman. She's a good person. I want to be with her. I'm going to go get what I want, get what I deserve, and she's in my life because of your decisions, not luck.
Sam is telling us to stop.
Oh, I saw the stop button.
Why do you
Dang,
assume
man, you
that's
should
me?
have had a countdown instead of going like
Sam-
5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Would have been nice to have a countdown.
Hey, yeah, and that's another thing. Stop trying to kill the conversation. Damn.
Sam does that at the worst times.
Yeah.
He's just like right in the middle.
And get
It's
this.
just
Hold on,
getting
wait.
started in there,
Hey,
bro.
hold on. And get this. And on his show earlier, he got mad at me for saying, "Sam, you're over 2 hours." So I want 3 hours. I'm like,
I didn't
yeah,
say
watch
anything here
tonight.
either. I was looking at a different screen, focusing on something else. This had
Sam,
nothing to do with me.
stop. Just stop trying to
I know
save
what you were
yourself.
focused on.
Just take it on the
Keep
chin.
it
Take it
cooking.
like a man.
Keep it
Guys,
cooking.
I
Drink
do
your
have to-
coffee.
I
Pause
do
it,
have to
Mira.
go though. I have to go because we are past the 2-hour mark. We are almost going on 2.5 hours. I have to go. I have movie night downstairs. The whole family's watching movies after the whole bath arrangement that we had. Now we're gonna watch movies.
Yo, that was
You- I had to say pause because you told Sam to take it on the chin.
listen. Amira's got to go do some weird stuff. Let her do it.
Guys, listen, we're having movie night. So good night, everyone.
movie?
Thank you for
What
joining
movie?
us. Thank
You
you for
killed
joining
me.
us tonight,
Wait,
Good
Amira,
night.
before I go, what movie?
All right, enjoy your film.
though. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Wait, what movie? What movie? What movie?
No, I'm
Don't
not
talk me
telling
away,
you. I'm not
Please.
telling you. Not telling you.
I'll-
Bye.
I'll head out.